Teachers of Reddit, what was the worst thing you had to confiscate from a student?
Over the course of years, bottle of vodka hidden in the girls' bathroom by 7th graders. How did you know where to look? Everyone who came back from the bathroom was drunk, so you're not as sneaky as you think. Vape, my mom gave it to me for allergies. So, I'll just give it back to her then. White eyes. No. Student banging the primers of two 3006 shells together in class. Grab, I just wanted to see if they would go off.
Napalm. Some kids were into petrol/gas sniffing, but found it hard to transport and keep hidden, so they learned how to make napalm so they could carry it hidden in their bags. I had to lock down the whole school and get hazmat in to dispose of it. And how did they find out how to make it? They asked one of the science teachers and he told them.
A crossbow, property of a 17-year-old student at the boarding school where I used to work. The same boy was also fond of bringing pheasants to school that he'd killed on his father's estate and plucking them in the shower block.
A gorilla mask, yes, dude put it on while my back was turned and facing the board. I laughed like hell, then took it for the day until his parents collected it.
My mom has been a primary teacher for her whole life now, in the UK, and the worst incident she had to deal with was with a girl aged 10 who was having issues with a boy essentially bullying her. She told her dad, and her dad's solution was to give her a sawn-off shotgun to intimidate the boy. No one knew it was unloaded, but the hell it raised when a 10-year-old schoolgirl brings out a shotgun certainly put the boy off from ever coming near her again.
Not a teacher, but I'm half deaf and my music teacher took my hearing aid and refused to accept that it wasn't an earbud. Then he yelled at me for the rest of the class for not playing in tune, couldn't exactly tell how well I was playing since I could hear it.
A note that said, "So you gonna give the dick or what?" I teach 12-year-olds.
A huge black dildo. A child found it in the school's garden and said I found a ding-dong in the garden and I'm taking it home for mom. That day, I was not professional.
Someone in my class had their phone taken because their Siri went off and said, "What do you need from me, slut?"
My wife is a teacher and one of her first graders brought her 2 hard seltzers because her mom said they're good after a long day and she deserved them.
A dead squirrel. I taught preschool at the time.
Preschool teacher here. I had to convince a 4-year-old that his mom's wedding ring should go into a special box on the front desk instead of on the finger of a 6-year-old girl he had a crush on. Later he brought in his dad's car keys and a bottle opener.
I had to confiscate hand sanitizer from a student who decided to drink it to get drunk and threw up everywhere.
Penis-shaped glass pipe with weed still in the balls/bowl. Mom asked if she would be getting it back or if the school was keeping it.
My mom always told the story about my brother bringing a signed picture of Richard Petty to his class and telling everyone he was his dad, 1-2 ND grade maybe, but that everyone forgot because the next kid pulled out an antique gun.
Not mine, but my fiancé's co-worker confiscated a makeshift shank from a 3rd grader, roughly 8 years old, made from a popsicle stick and a straw. He said he was going to use it on his animals at home. Best part was when they told the dad, he said, "Why did you give him supplies to make a shank? I assume he's gonna kill a few people in the future."
I taught 1st grade and confiscated a piece of a broken beer bottle from a 6 years old. It really surprised me, because he was the sweetest kid. Turns out another classmate asked him to bring a weapon and hide it in the playground sand, so that he could get back at another kid. I tried to do more life lesson things than suspension for both boys, BC they're freaking 6, but school policy had them both suspended for a few days.
No, a teacher, she and her 1st or 2nd grade class, can't remember which, were on lunch. Lunch lady walks up and tells her one of her students just tried to buy an extra something with over $1,000 in cash she had stuffed in a tiny coin pouch that looked like a plushy pink duck. Teacher called the girl's house and the mom was 9.8 into a full-blown 10 out of 10 panic after looking for it all morning. This was the early 2000s when it was still normal to pay bills in cash in person. Apparently they forgot to give the girl her allowance, 50 cents, so she took the paper money instead.
In 3rd grade, I once had my entire deck of only holographic Yu-Gi-Oh cards confiscated from me for playing with them during break time too much with friends. I was told I'd be able to get them back when I graduated school, 6th grade. I said okay, not totally understanding what was going on. I forgot about them completely, though I still kept a vested interest in the TCG for a few more years, like into 5th grade, until 9th grade. I went back and asked my old 3rd grade teacher to return my property. Within seconds, she pulls them out of her desk drawer and hands me them. It was an odd experience. Edit, at 18.4k karma. This comment alone has given me more than 44 times my entire previous year's karma. Wow. Thanks so much, everyone. I tried to respond to as many folks as I could. This was an awesome way to spend a day off.
A taser disguised as a torch.
Worst thing, bullets. From a 1st grader. Had to do a room clear to look for a gun. Best thing, a cat a high school student brought in their backpack, haha.
So far, a death letter that a severely antisocial a social student wrote after a minor incident with a peer. The letter told the student to kill themselves, to die already, etc., and depicted bloody, slashed wrists. I truly think the student didn't intend to give the other student the letter because they never talked to anyone, but that was some fucked up shit to see from a kid.
Confiscated 3 knives from one kid, but the weirdest thing was a porn video from a 9-year-old girl. She brought it to school to show off to the boys. Took it from her grandfather's stash. Big tit fantasies and anal desires, had to read it to the short-sighted, 60-year-old vice principal. I was 21 at the time.
So right out of uni, about 25-ish, I took a job teaching at a school in the capital of our country. Lots of poverty and the level of education was low in these teenagers. First day on the job, a kid takes out this hacking knife and starts attacking the furniture with it. For some weird reason I just walked up to him and demanded he give it to me. Which worked. But it just as easily could have not worked. During the same job I also had multiple conversations with students about how sexual misconduct towards the teacher, me, isn't okay. I also got locked in a classroom with 10 angry male students, including the one from the knife incident. In the end I left because the administration didn't back me up.
The weirdest one was definitely the fish in a vase they found during locker checks. It was in an unassigned locker someone had added a lock to. Inside was a live betta fish in about as large a vase as you can fit in a locker. Fully decorated. Someone had clipped a little book light to the top of the vase, presumably so fish wasn't in the dark all the time. No one claimed to know whose it was or how long it had been there, so it lived in the coach's office for at least that year.
Not a teacher, but when I was in 2nd grade a kid brought his mom's vibrator to class cause he thought it was a toy submarine. Obviously we didn't know any better until years later, when that same kid told us how embarrassed his mom was to this day.
Not a teacher, but a bus driver. I had to confiscate a 5th grader's cell phone a few days ago, specifically because he was showing hardcore porn to 1st graders with it. Lots of phone calls that day.
Handcuffs and tear gas from the same student, same lesson.
Most dangerous, a knife from an 8th grader. Most annoying, different school than above, but a Wi-Fi jammer and a USB killing device from an 8th grader.
My beyond innocent sister was sent to the principal's office for bringing a dildo to school and making an obscene joke/gesture with it to her teacher. What actually happened was she was drinking these weird protein shots to bulk up for cheerleading or something we'd gotten from Costco, which came in a long, pink, fairly phallic tubes, kind of like this, when her teacher got mad and was like, "What is this?" My sister honestly said it's a protein shot and gestured to drink it.